Hello, everyone. Welcome to a little short Bat Bulletin, I guess you would call this.
A bat bite.
Bat Bite? Yeah. Me and John thought it would be quite apt to record this today, which is the 23rd of June, 2020, because there's been, in the past 24 hours, there's been, like, crazy bat news.
Good and bad, everything.
Yeah, really up and down. Start off with the bad news, of course. The director of the movie we're currently looking at, Batman Forever, and the movie we're going to be covering next. The director of those two films, Joel Schumacher, of course, passed away yesterday, age of 80, from a year-long battle with cancer, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't know he had it. I don't know if that's just me being a bit oblivious, but maybe he was just someone who didn't like to talk about it.
I don't think it was very well publicized. Like, we know we've talked about Val Kilmer having his cancer quite a bit, but I don't remember Joel been very public about it at all. The thing is, though, like, in the day since, like, I genuinely was a little sad to hear it, because, having spent so much time now looking at interviews with him and listening to the guy's commentaries and friggin' watching interviews with him on YouTube and stuff, he seemed like genuinely a lovely man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is just, people kind of butt kissing or whatever, but I haven't seen anyone say a bad thing about him, really. Like, as a person, even I've seen some people go, I didn't like all of his movies, but what a nice man.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he will forever now have, like, a tarnished legacies makes it sound really bad, but, like, the fact that he, as the director of Batman and Robin, recorded, as one of the worst movies ever made, etc., etc. And he has had, like, a lot of duds. There's been, go through that guy's filmography, there's a lot of, like, oh, no, that just did not work at all. But you really can't fault the guy for trying.
No.
Like, he seemed a real type of, like, you just go out and do the thing. Like, really grab hold of with both, fucking hands full, and just completely go hammer and tongs at whatever project he was on. And considering, like, he worked his way up from, like, production design to the screenwriting, then up to, directing, and then had been handed the reins to, like, the Batman franchise. It's like, you don't do that by coasting. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You don't, like,
and he was very stylistic, which, of course, some people like, some people don't like. And it's not just in Batman. I mean, Lost Boys looks great, I think.
Oh, of course, Flatliners, all that stuff. Like, really, again, this guy's a set designer. Like, he knows how to, like, that. For all the flaws we've talked about in Batman Forever thus far, it's all script-based, really. It's like, they could have done more with this, but he didn't write the script for that. Like, maybe I'm sure he had some sort of say, and like, oh, we could do this or we could do that, but he, as a scriptwriter, took a back seat. And then in terms of visual presentation, everything's great. Like, it's all like, this looks fantastic for, what it is supposed to be.
Oh, yeah. You can't fault it. He delivered what he was asked to deliver. Probably better than most people could have done anyway. Yeah. Imagine getting the script for Batman and Robin.
And just like, a lot of tributes coming into him over the last day. He had, like, Jim Carrey. Of course, he worked with him again, which we'll probably be covering at some point during the hiatus, the number 23. Seemed to regard him as a real close friend. And even Nicole Kidman came out and was very heartbroken, because they worked together, like, actually, again, in long forgotten. It's like Joel's final movie, actually, Trespass. It's a thing, like, re-teaming with Nicole Kidman, just no one talks about it, because it's just like, just forget about that one.
I did forget about that, actually. I haven't seen it. I should probably go watch it now.
Oh, it's one of those, like, posts, guy went off the boil in later years in terms of, like, really grabbing people's attentions. I think, like, his last projects, actually, were just, like, he quietly directed a few episodes of House of Cards. Oh, and that was the end of him then. But, and of course, we saw the saxophone guy from from Lost Boys. He came out and paid tribute as well.
Oh, my hero.
That's actually a thing I noticed as well. Because last night I was like, oh, I'll stick on like a lesser, Joel Schumacher movie I don't know as well. And I should also say as well, like, we sort of joked about throughout the season of Batman Forever, saying, well, you've recast Billy D. Williams with a white guy, and what's that saying, Joel? Like, all those kind of things. it should be noted that Joel Schumacher's first screenplay was for a thing called Sparkle, which is about a girl group in Harlem in the 1950s. All black, all black girls. Then he wrote the screenplay for Car Wash, which was what I watched last night, which is a film that has like a 99.8% black cast. And then, of course, we went on to write The Wiz and things like that. So I don't in any way think that Joel Schumacher had any form of racial prejudice about him. I should really emphasize that now. That he's
No.
never want that to be a thing associated with him. I think he said his reason for going elsewhere than Billy D. Williams was because he couldn't picture Billy D. Williams as a villain, which maybe that is legitimately what he thought. So
yeah, I mean, I've never seen him play one personally, so I don't know. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't.
Yeah. But yeah, so the, stuck on Car Wash there last night. Notice guy playing the saxophone in that too, Bill Duke, actually, friggin' of all people. From Predator, of course, go on to star with friggin' Arnold Schwarzenegger, who would go on to be in Batman and Robin.
Oh, everything's connected.
Yeah. And then so I was like, oh yeah, and he's playing saxophone in that. Then I remember Set Elmo's Fire. Friggin' Rob Lowe's a saxophone guy in that. I was like, what? Has he got a thing for saxophone? It's like, where's the saxophone in Batman Forever?
Yeah, I want Batman on a rooftop, lonely. He's just like, my life is so difficult. And he just starts playing a saxophone solo on the dark rooftop.
That should have been your How You Get Kissed from a Rose in the movie, is like Chase Meridian calls him to like her boudoir, and she wakes up and then just hears like outside just a saxophone. And it's just Batman standing at the balcony blaring a saxophone at her.
Yes.
And then he's like, it'd be really weird though then if she's like, oh no, I'm not interested, and then he has to like grapple hook away with like a saxophone under his arm.
Oh no, please somebody make some fan art of this. I need to see Batman with the saxophone.
The thing is, they couldn't fart about and like look at the band in the Enigma Tech Party. They had to have like neon everything. It's like no way Batman has a normal saxophone.
Oh,
they'd
no.
have to like, it'll be like the Batmobile. It'll be all like black with blue luminous bits and stuff.
Oh my god, I need an HR Giga saxophone.
Oh man. It's like, now, Joel, if we'd only got this idea to him before he passed, he could have done the special edition.
Oh, bless. And I love St. Elmo's Fire. You're not so big a fan, are you? But I think it's great.
That's one of those ones, though, now, in retrospect, I'm like, because I hated all the characters in it, I'm wondering now, maybe that was the point. Maybe you're supposed to hate all the characters in it. Like, maybe it was supposed to be like, yeah, these are all, like, friggin' white privileged upper crust snobs.
So
and that's what the movie's about. Like, so yeah, maybe it's more of a critique of that society than I was just like, I think you're supposed to just like these people. But maybe that was just me. But yeah, so that, of course, then, so rest in peace, Joel. Well, we've talked about the guy ad nauseum, friggin' over 110 episodes now, I think we're up to when recording. Yeah. We'll talk about him for another 120 after this. So
press F, though, everybody.
Yeah. Of course, it's actually be interesting to see that, I think we might have mentioned on the main show, but I know that Rory Culkin, who, one of the younger Culkins, I think the youngest Culkin, he also starred in a Joel Schumacher movie, 12, one of the other forgotten Joel Schumacher movies. And he is now playing Joel Schumacher in some sort of TV biopic of the fashion designer Halston. So that'll be interesting to see, because it'll just be like, well, he knew the guy, so... And then we'll be, I'm assuming we'll have to look at that whenever it comes out to see. I'm sure Joel Schumacher will only be a little small part of it, but, I'm sure it'll be up our alley whenever it gets going.
Yeah, I'm on board.
But, now we've talked about that sad news, of course, because it was such a whiplash day yesterday, within the same hour of finding out that Joel Schumacher is dead, as if they were waiting for him to die to announce it, quite frankly. We got word that it's all but being confirmed, or at least he's in talks, and it seems like it should hopefully be all going ahead, that Michael Keaton is, in fact, returning as Batman in the Flashpoint movie.
That's crazy to me. Like, I'm very excited, but the decision to make it as part of that? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so I know because all pieces are shifting all over the place and whatnot, and there was talk of like it'll be him, and then Jeffrey Dean Morgan was going to be playing Thomas Wayne, and now it seems like no, that role that would have been for Jeffrey Dean Morgan has now been replaced with the Burton-verse Batman, and it's like it's all very early days. You never know. Michael Keaton might turn around and go, "Nah, I'm not doing that," and then that'll be the end of that. But it's. I don't know. It's just crazy because like we've spent two whole seasons going like they should really come back for another one, and now it seems like not only that movie, they're saying he might be in multiple films afterwards,
I know,
which is
pretty wild. That I don't know how I feel about it. I want to see more of him. I always do, of course, but be careful.
I don't know. I'm all for it because it's like, hey, if it turns out to be garbage, it'll be interesting garbage, and at least like. We'll still have the other movies. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I just worry about, like, because Michael Keaton's, he's our movies by a minute remit. Then you got the DC cinematic minute people over on the other side. Then it's like, who gets to cover this thing? Because theoretically, it's going to be the Ezra Miller Flash. It might not be, because Ezra Miller, people seemingly have forgotten already. He was caught in camera strangling a woman like not 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, see, I forgot about that. It seems like about 10 years ago now.
Oh, it's all this COVID world. It's just like, yeah, that was a thing. That if there was no virus, that would have been much bigger news. But it was in the midst of like, hey everyone, the world seems to be ending. So like, people kind of forgot about it pretty quickly. So through that, they might have been like, well, people have forgotten about that, or maybe it was just a misunderstanding. They'll try to come out with some sort of excuse and hope that the guy's reputation is okay so they can push ahead with Ezra Miller being in that movie. But then like, it'll probably come down to like, because I'd be up for covering the Flashpoint movie minute by minute if it's if it's about that Flash going to the Burtonverse and it's majoritively set there. If it's got like 50% or more of that movie is spent in Tim Burton's Gotham, I feel we have legal rights to claim that as ours. And if it's not Ezra Miller, if they recast and it's like, yeah, that's, we can take that because that's not technically, you could say it's not the same friggin' Flash from the other movies.
At the very least, we'll do a bunch of special episodes on it.
Oh, of course,
like,
of course.
I don't know, like an 8-part series or something.
I know people have said, like, why did, within various Facebook groups Facebook chats that me and John are in, it's like, oh, you guys just team up with the DC Minute guys. It's like, the idea of, like, having to, like, schedule that every week with people in a different time zone, it just seems like that'll be way too much. Like,
it'd be too hard for sure. No way.
Yeah, so that would not be an option. But the thing is, then you might get like maybe those guys do that movie if maybe it's only a Keaton cameo, but then Michael Keaton might come back and do a Batman Beyond with like. And I think now there's talk of because they know that there is a Batgirl movie in the works, which would I know they said like it's not connected to the Jeffrey Wright Commissioner Gordon, so they're saying like there's an open call casting for actresses of all races and whatnot, because they're like, well, if it was Jeffrey Wright's daughter, then there'll be an actress of color. But like, nope, it's open to everybody. So it would indicate that is not going to be connected in any way to the Robert Pattinson Batman movie where Jeffrey Wright plays Commissioner Gordon, Batgirl's dad.
It's getting confusing now with different Jokers and Batman.
Yeah. But it's if that were to go on, then it's like it's Batman Beyond, but it's a Batgirl, and it's just Michael Keaton and some new young actress, whoever it might turn out to be. That's a movie we could cover, because that would be like, well, that's 100% within our remit then. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see when what comes to pass down the line. But it's just crazy news that happened within. I believe Dave Fowles was saying in one of the groups, it's like in Thor Ragnarok when they were just waiting for Anthony Hopkins to die so Kate Blanchett could reemerge. And he was holding closed that door. This is like, yes, now Schumacher's passed. We can announce that Michael Keaton is back. Because I do know that apparently Batman on film, the big news sources for Batman movie news.
Yeah.
They said like, yeah, we've been sitting on this for a while. Like they've known for some time that this was supposed to be happening, and they're like, it's 100% true. So that would be an indication. It's like, oh, it all seems to be definitely in the works, and it could also be an indication of they're like, let's not let Joel Schumacher die, having heard that his Batman work has now been swept off the table because people are
bless.
like,
no
the
one
real
will
Bat's
forget
back.
it. It's always going to have its place.
No, of course. But yeah, so we just thought this would be a nice little special episode to talk about, just to mention our off the cuff thoughts on these things happening. Should also mention, of course, I said at the beginning, of course, today is the 23rd of the 6th, which is now the 31st anniversary of the release of Batman 1989.
So we're going to cover it all again, minute by minute, starting now.
Yes, that's 100% correct. So, minute 1, Warner Brothers presents.
It is a period of civil war. Oh, wait, wrong thing.
But so yeah, I think because that's in the U.S. release, then they did one of those ridiculous things. It still would put that kind of crap nowadays, but I think it was 11th of August when it was released in the UK. It's like, holy crap. What a month and a half later. What were you doing?
Yeah, but back then, like, it didn't matter in a way because there was no other way of doing it. You never got them at the same time. And you didn't really, I mean, you didn't have the internet, really. It was only just coming in, so who cares?
No spoilers, none like that. It was just like, just you get the movie whenever you get the movie, and then you talk about it within your close circle of friends because there's no one else to talk to about it.
Exactly.
Of course, the other day it was 25 years of Batman Forever, and it was 28 years of Batman Returns within the last week because they're all released around the same time. Even though it's still weird that like Batman Returns is very, very much a Christmas movie, but like, hey, shove it out in the middle of June. There you go, that works.
I love the way I was originally going to go. Isn't that weird that they all came out around the same time? And then I was like, oh wait, no, summertime. Yeah, makes sense.
And also within the last 24 hours, they seem to have had word come out about this Rocksteady, who are making the Batman Arkham games.
Yeah.
The ones that everyone likes, at least. Like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight.
Oh, we love them.
They are now developing a Suicide Squad game, which is weird because Arkham Origins ended. Arkham Origins was the game within the same universe, which was developed by WB Montreal, and not a lot of people like it, even though I think it's really, really great. Actually, quite a few people do like it, but it's just not as beloved.
Yeah.
But the end of that game sets up a Suicide Squad thing. But they're also announcing, presumably coming in this August DC Fandome event, the 24-hour virtual event that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like they're going to announce something that's tentatively been called Gotham Knights, which is basically a Batman game about the Court of Owls, which is all but been confirmed. It's been rumored for about 2 goddamn years now.
Might be getting a double whammy.
Yeah, and it just seems like, so you're within the same day, we're also now getting the one studio, which you think would be holding on to all the Arkham Batman stuff, is like, no, they're doing something. Apparently it's going to be called, the rumor is it's going to be called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Ooh. Which is one of those things that like all tying in because the famous Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. And then because Harley Quinn is now DC's answer to Deadpool, for them to release a game called Suicide Squad, which is headed by Harley Quinn, kills the Justice League.
Subtle.
Seems like that's a little bit of a little knife in the ribs there.
I love that though. That's funny. Who cares? Do it.
Yeah, and then the other team, like they've been freaking working on this Gotham Knights game for goddamn forever now.
It better be bloody good then.
Yeah, but so this is all crazy crap that's come out literally within the last 24 hours. And yeah, so we just jumped on here to have a little chat about it. Yeah. My final thoughts on it: Joel Schumacher, very sad. Everything else, very exciting.
That's why it's been a roller coaster though, because it started off with the Joel Schumacher news. Was that the first one, or was the game the first one?
I think the game.
First.
The game.
So we started with a high, then a real low, then a high. I don't know how to feel at the moment. Joel trumps them all. Love you, Joel. You've given us all some wonderful entertainment here doing this show. Yeah,
that was me and John discussed in the green room there. We'll probably do another little thing, a Joel Schumacher movie review in the close future, just as a little tribute to him. Take out one of his best. And like, we don't want to go down like, let's look at that Phantom of the Opera crap he made. Like, we'll
don't
go for one of
tempt
his good ones.
No, I'll do the Phantom. Actually, I might do that with LOL. That'll be funny.
I think though we did promise that to because Alison Grimm is a major Phantom fan. I think we said I think this hiatus will be with her Island of Dr. Moreau because I know she wants to do that as well. And then I guess after Batman and Robin, now we can do Phantom of the Opera with Alison Grimm.
Definitely.
But yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.
We will depart. We'll leave you be, everybody. So do tune in for your regularly scheduled episodes of Bat Minute. And yes, love you, Joel. F.